Madness of March, and welcome to our show. I'm Amy Fadul, and for the first time since 2008, 3 Big Five teams are in the big dance. Philadelphia is cementing its status as a basketball town. Selection Sunday had no heartbreak for any of the local bubble teams. 9 seed, 10 seed, 13, whatever. All that matters is Villanova, Temple, and LaSalle all heard their names called, and they are dancing. Derek Gunn kicks off our March to the Net coverage. He's with the Explorers on 20th and Only.
The LaSalle Explorers waited.
And the Tigers will play the winner of the first-round game in Dayton between Middle Tennessee and St. Mary's out of the Sun Belt, the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee.
Waited some more.
Who are they going to go up against? They'll go up against the number 12 seed out of the Pac-12, Mike Montgomery's California Golden Bears.
And the more they watched, the bleaker their situation looked.
Real frustrated. I never even heard that some of them teams that names were called. I mean, no disrespect to them. They did everything they had to do to get their automatic bid, but it just makes you mad because, like, you feel as though you're one of the best teams in the country. Your name's still not called. Like, you beat some of the top teams. Your name still hasn't been called.
You know, I was just watching and I was just patiently waiting. I didn't know the numbers games or anything about that, but I just was watching. I just was hoping that we was on there. As
the brackets filled and LaSalle still wasn't called, a few players would momentarily leave the room out of frustration.
I just sent my prayers up to Allah, and I either knew it was going to be a great day or a good day.
And so only one bracket remained, and just when all hope appeared to be lost.
And they will play the winner of the first-round game between Boise State Broncos and the Explorers of LaSalle.
It's a big deal, and everyone in this room, especially our players, put so much into trying to make this tournament. So I'm happy for everybody. But, yeah, the way it was set up, getting in the last region made it more dramatic. And the players jumped up before I could see the screen. Yeah, they saw it first. So when we were called, I didn't even see it. But obviously I knew they were happy and later found out the details.
A 21-year drought finally over.
It means a lot. It still haven't hit me yet. Like, I mean, it's a dream come true. Especially it's my last time senior, so it's just I can't explain in words how I feel right now.
How ironic it is that this coming Wednesday just happens to be the 150th anniversary of LaSalle University, the same day the basketball team hopes to be celebrating in grand style with a win over Boise State. At LaSalle, Derek Gunn, Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, they say styles make fights. In this case, LaSalle couldn't have picked a better opponent. Boise State plays 4 guards most of the time and won't expose the Explorers' lack of size inside. Like LaSalle, Boise State doesn't have a lot of tournament experience to draw upon. The Broncos have never won a game in the big dance. If LaSalle gets by Boise State, they'd face Kansas State in the second round in Kansas City. A tough draw for the Explorers. Of course, LaSalle opens up in Dayton on Wednesday, and that's where Temple will start its journey on Friday. With more on the Owls, here's Marshall Harris.
The number 9 seed.
Temple into the NCAA tournament. Nothing new about that premise as the Owls fly into the big dance for a 6th straight year. But despite being awarded a 9 seed, there was slightly more worry and angst this time around.
Coach was talking about NIT and CBI and stuff like that.
You were buying, you were never did you still worry?
No, I thought I had a feeling that we were in, but I mean, Coach, he did a good job of making sure that it was very suspenseful.
Coach Dumpf kind of, was letting us know, we're not a lock, so there's always that bit of unknown, waiting, and finally it's just kind of a relief to finally hear your name called.
In a Dayton pod with 1 seed Indiana, Fran Dunphy's team faces 8 seed NC State first up. Not that the Owls know much about the Wolfpack outside of 6'9" big man C.J. Leslie.
I was actually watching their game. I turned the TV on and I was watching it. They play really well. They play hard. They play really well together. They share the ball. Leslie is outstanding, great athlete, and I think we're just going to have to come prepared.
I certainly know the coaching staff. Mark Gottfried I've known for a long time, and I know how good a coach he is. And he's got an assistant now, Bobby Lutz, who I coached against for a number of years when he was at Charlotte. So I know how good that part of it is. I know that C.J. Leslie's a spectacular player, and they've got the full complement of really good basketball players. So we'll have our hands full no matter what happens.
Red hot to end the regular season with 7 straight wins. Temple may have gotten a reality check with a one-and-done effort in the A-10 tournament, something they don't want to repeat now.
It woke us up a little bit. We were playing really good basketball, and we went against against UMass, and we didn't really play that good. But we did do some good things, and UMass is a good team. But I mean, we watched that film today, and we learned a lot from it, and we just want to get that behind us, and hopefully we got our bad performance out of the way.
Now, Temple may only have one NCAA tournament win in the last 5 seasons, but there is something to be said for just getting here. After all, the Owls are just one of 8 NCAA teams to make each of the last 6 NCAAs. Marshall Harris, Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, Temple definitely goes into Friday's game as the hotter team. NC State has lost its last 4 games against teams that made the NCAA tournament. Wolfpack just 2-6 overall against the field of 68. Defense will be a big key for the Owls. NC State is 5th in the country in field goal percentage. Tall task looming for the Owls if they advance past the Wolfpack on Friday. Indiana Hoosiers, Big Ten regular season champs, would likely await them. Temple not the only Big 5 team to get a 9 seed. So did Villanova. And with more on the Cats, here's Steve Bucci on the main line.
Jay Wright was so unsure of what to expect that he was preparing for the play-in game in Dayton.
We had to practice hard today in case we got into a play-in game. You know, we would have only had one more day. So we might even have an easy day one day this week just so we don't wear them out.
They were shocked and delighted to see a number 9 seed next to their name, even if it means a matchup with North Carolina.
It was exciting to see us up on the board and playing on our Friday night, so we're just excited. Didn't matter who we played, we were just glad to be in.
We're honored and very humbled that they think enough of our program to make us a 9 seed. And to play Carolina is, Carolina in the NCAA tournament doesn't get any better than that.
In the end, the selection committee placed more weight on Villanova's wins over top 5 opponents than their losses to Columbia and Seton Hall. For seniors like Muftau Yuru, this is how you want to go out in the NCAA tournament.
Tell me about that moment when you saw the name Villanova flashed on the screen.
I almost cried. I almost did. I was so happy I almost cried.
Facing the Tar Heels may seem like a tall order, but the rigors of the Big East, battling the likes of Louisville and Georgetown, has readied the Cats for the challenge.
I think our guys have confidence they can play with anybody in the country, and that confidence comes from our games against Syracuse and Louisville and Georgetown and Connecticut and everybody in Temple and anybody we've played, LaSalle. And so I think they've earned that. I think they've earned that confidence.
The 2009 Final Four was the last time Villanova met Carolina in the NCAA tournament. The Heels won en route to the national championship. And while it's highly unlikely that Villanova's run this time will end in the Final Four, after missing the tournament a year ago, they are just thrilled to be back. At the Pavilion, Steve Bucci, Comcast Sportsnet.
Well, there's no doubt Villanova has had more success against top teams than North Carolina this season. Heels just 2-8 against the teams in the field of 68. They're 0-5 against the top 2 seeds from the ACC, Duke and Miami. Villanova, meanwhile, beat a number 1 seed in Louisville and a number 2 seed in Georgetown. UNC is a different team than in years past with just one veteran front court player. Carolina now plays a 4-guard offense and shoots a lot of three-pointers, so perimeter shooting is important for them. If the Wildcats can beat the Tar Heels this time, they're likely looking at a matchup with top-seeded Kansas in the round of 32.
Top of the bracket we go. Indiana, the 1 seed out east, playing the winner of LIU Brooklyn and James Madison. NC State facing Temple in an 8-9 game.
UNC plays Minnesota. Top half, the top seed in the region, Kansas gets Western Kentucky. North Carolina plays Villanova with a chance for Roy Williams to face his old team in the next round.
Back on the Highlight Express and back to the NIT. Battle of the Saints, Joes and Johns. Under a minute to go, Hawks down 4 with the ball. Carl Jones, nice little hesitation at the three-point line. Goes glass to cut the deficit in half. It's a tie game, 5.7 seconds to go. Here come the Red Storm. Sir Dominic Pointer at the buzzer. Drills the baseline jumper. St. John's trailed by double digits in the first half, but Steve Lavin and crew rally for the W. Calipari, but Coach Cal in familiar surroundings, as in Moon Township, Pennsylvania, where he grew up, to face Robert Morris. And Robert Morris was ready from the opening tip. That's Lucky Jones, the lay-in and the foul. A 10-0 lead to start the game, but Kentucky settles down, mounting the comeback. Willie Cauley-Stein, the jam, Wildcats down 4. Later in the first half, Archie Goodwin A game-high 18. Wildcats trailed by 1 at the break. Second half. Jones and the foul, a 4-point play. Robert Morris up 7 over the defending champs. In the corner, Russell Johnson, a 13-point lead. This game at Robert Morris because Rupp Arena already delegated to host a tournament game. That was Goodwin tying the game at 57, but Wildcats down 2 in the final seconds. Kyle Wilcher's off the mark, and we have a storming of the court from the 3,400 plus, taking down mighty Kentucky.
Big day, and yes, this is a huge day for LaSalle. They are so happy to be in this tournament, but he says these guys just got to stay calm and focused. They'll be fine. For the first time in 21 years, LaSalle is going dancing, earning its first NCAA tournament bid. It's hard not to get caught up in all the excitement, but Coach John Giannini says his squad is taking it in stride.
They know it's a big game. I need to try to be positive with them and let them be as relaxed as they can.
Both teams play similar styles, using 4 guards and thriving in transition. So he says the key to this game will be shot selection.
I immediately was struck by the 4-guard thing. And of course, when you play 4 guards, there's only so much you could do. You're going to play 4 out, 1 in, and you know, I was really surprised how similar we are. So I think the teams are evenly matched. It'll come down to whoever plays best tonight.
The Boise State Broncos among the best 3-point shooting teams in the country.
We've been one of the better 3-point defensive teams in the country, so hopefully that'll help us tonight. It'll be a real interesting matchup. Again, I think we're evenly matched.
He says the key to this game will be shot selection and shot quality, and of course treat this as any other game, something that I'm sure is not very easy to do. Reporting live here in Dayton, Susan, back to you.
It's going to be tough to keep those nerves in check, but they'll be great. Leslie, thanks so much. And here's when and where you can find your local teams in the tournament. LaSalle starts it out tonight at 9:10 p.m. on True TV. Friday.
Team March Madness begins tonight.
And it was a 21-year wait for LaSalle. Tonight is the night the LaSalle Explorers are in the NCAA tournament, but that's not enough. They want to advance. Tonight, they get set to take on Boise State in the opening round. If you don't know much about Boise State, don't fret. Coach Giannini, he has done his homework.
Our opponent is not only outstanding, but they're very similar to ourselves. And I can't remember another game I've coached in where I was surprised at the high level of similarity. They play 4 guards. They can all dribble, pass, and shoot. They're big guys, are tough and play down low and set screens, and you know, it's the way we play.
Temple and Nova both left for their NCAA regional sites today. Oddly enough, both are taking on a team from the Tar Heel State. We have reports from both sides. We begin with Jeff Skaversky and the Owls.
The Temple Owls don't want to unpack those bags anytime soon, but their NCAA trips come with some heavy baggage heading into Friday's game against NC State. Temple has lost their first game of the tournament in 4 of their last 5 years.
You get tired of everybody saying you can't win games in the tournament, and a lot of people talking bad about Coach Duffy around this time of the year, and you got a chance to silence all the critics. I've been to the tournament ever since I've been here, but you know, we always been losing stuff at the Penn State game, so I mean, hopefully this turnout is a better turnout for us.
And despite a tough opening round matchup in Dayton, Temple feels this could be the year they smile all the way to the Sweet 16. Based on experience, they have a handful of seniors who play significant time.
They're not as awed as they were when their first time around or their second time around. So there's not necessarily the same awe, but that doesn't make the challenge any easier.
Temple's not the only number 9 seed in town, hitting the road right now to take on a team from North Carolina. Villanova's doing the same thing. For more on them, let's go to Jamie Apodi over at Villanova.
From the cheerleaders to the fans, Nova Nation out in full force for a sweet send-off today on campus. The 9th-seeded Wildcats off to Kansas City for a date with North Carolina on Friday. Jay Wright's team, not the usual tournament-tested bunch this year. He's got 6 freshmen and sophomores and hoping it's a case of ignorance is bliss.
I don't know how great it is to rely on ignorance, but we have that. We have ignorance and a lot of youth and inexperience. But, you know, in the NCAA tournament, that can be a positive.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just going to play loose, and as is our team, I think we We're a pretty inexperienced team, but that's good for us. We don't know how to. We're just gonna play and just let the game come to us.
Jay Wright's used to this NCAA tournament thing. You wonder if he still gets nervous. Kat, do you still get nervous? The Cat doesn't get nervous. You got this. All right.
Yeah, there's a little anxiousness. You definitely get a little butterflies. It's fun. As long as you're getting butterflies, you're doing good things, man. It's a lot of fun.
And with that, off they went, hoping the fun continues at least through the weekend. At Villanova University, Jamie Pody, Channel 6, Action News.
Good luck to both, and I know you're wondering, Jeff Skaversky is okay.
He's okay.
The bus did not
Just
get him.
standing there. All right. Coming up.
Welcome to Dayton, Ohio, for the first four presented by Northwestern Mutual. Our second game tonight, it's a pair of at-large 13 seeds out of the West region in the bracketing this year, the LaSalle Explorers versus the Boise State Broncos. The last two at-larges in the field. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, Larry Kellogg, and the winner of this game moves on tonight after the game to Kansas City. What about this matchup? What are you expecting here tonight, Clark?
Guard heavy,
okay,
both ways. Dremick and Marks for Boise State, outstanding scorers, get about 33 points a game. And then for LaSalle, multiple attackers off the dribble. Tyreek Duren, Ramon Galloway, Tyrone Garland, all of these guys. Sam Mills can get to the basket. I expect to see a lot of isolation, penetration, pitch, good high-octane action both ways.
All right, looking forward to it. Let's meet LaSalle first. The Explorers and head coach John Giannini taking LaSalle back to the tournament for the first time since 1992. There is Galloway, along with Duren, Mills, Peterson, and Wright, his first five. And the Boise State Broncos and their first five. Loriaga, he can shoot it.
Yes, sir.
Hadzi Omerovic, another Australian.
Nicely done, Jim.
Dremick, who certainly can fill it up. Marks and Watkins also starting. And there is Dr. John Giannini in his 9th year at LaSalle. Came to LaSalle from the University of Maine, where he was Maine's all-time winningest coach. And then Leon Rice in his 3rd season after 11 years as an assistant at Gonzaga, and big things are happening out in Boise as well. Not only in football, but basketball as well. So game 2 is underway. Clock. Duran just in time. First and 10.
Known for his offense, that time showing some defensive prowess.
And denying Wright at the other end. It's Watkins over Wright. 5 minutes and 12 seconds. And LaSalle has the 8-6 lead at the first break. You're watching the first four, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Quarterfinals. He pressed a bit offensively.
Going inside. Yeah, beautiful shot.
You know, he settled for perimeter shots.
How about that pass? That's Galloway again. Peterson finishes it off into a teammate to deliver the goods.
Not much room, and he rifled it on the line. Galloway with the left-hand push. Beautiful dime right there. LaSalle plus 10.
To know the latest news on all your teams with Bleacher Report's Team Stream app. Stay one step ahead. Check out Team Stream on your iPhone, iPad, or Android device today. A proud history at LaSalle. Back in 1954 in Kansas City, LaSalle won the national championship. 92-76 over Bradley. Tom Gola named the tournament's most outstanding player. In fact, LaSalle won its first 9 NCAA tournament games. They went on to the national title game the next year and lost in the finals at 55 to Bill Russell's USF, San Francisco Dons, in the championship game. But the old Tom Gola era at LaSalle, and I know that Mr. Gola's back home watching this game right now. We send our best.
Yes, we do. One of the all-time greats.
Hall of Famer.
Yes, sir. And you talk about they're having a tough time trying to get any type of penetration.
A tough defense delivers again, and the lob. It's Garland to Galloway, and it's a 14-point LaSalle lead. Timeout, Boise State.
Timeout, Boise State. Right now, it's the athleticism of the Explorers. Garland to Galloway, G squared, and it's a 14-point cushion for the Explorers.
State, most of that Drimmick. Galloway to Jarrell Wright for the dunk.
I love the way that guy passes the basketball. He's got great vision, sees the floor extremely well. And these guys shot the ball well. They defended.
Sam
did
Mills
what they had to do.
5 of 6 from three-point range in this game.
And he was quietly doing creating space on the floor for all these guys off the dribble. Drimmick again, he wouldn't go away. He kept his team in the game, gave him a chance.
9 of 17, 28 points. He hit the 20-point mark for the 7th time in his last 8 games.
His name is Tyrone Garland. Off the bounce. Ooh, special. Drop it off. And Jarrell Wright had one of those hard-hat second halves. Put in work.
Boise goes on a 10-2 run.
Ball.
Give me that.
Ball.
Derek Marks misses there.
Low intensity.
Ramon Galloway, a little tussle there.
Baseline. Guys are fighting out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting after it. They think these guys don't care.
Look at the referee. Get right into it.
There you go.
Separate them.
Everybody's okay.
Philly versus Chicago. Good luck breaking that one up.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Gonna give any ground.
Two kids intense.
That's right.
Got back to basketball quickly, though, and Boise State, their last breath. They go on a 10-2 run. Derek Marks, before fouling out, he had 14. Peterson breaks the trap and finds Galloway for the lay-in, and that'll about do it.
Yes, indeed.
Great win.
The LaSalle Explorers, on the 59th anniversary of their 1955 national championship, 54 national championship, I should say.
And it's amazing how you win in the NCAA tournament, by the way, when you make buckets, you make baskets. LaSalle shot 73% in the second half. That's the highest percentage in a half in the NCAA tournament in the last 5 years. They were 11 for 21 from behind the three-point line, so they're 37% on the season, 52% tonight. So really, Boise State did a pretty good job on the boards, had a hard time limiting on the fast break, but just LaSalle showed great efficiency, sharing the basketball. They were really a pleasure to watch offensively, and we haven't said that a lot in college basketball this season.
Now, that's also been the Broncos' Achilles heel all season long. They were 303rd out of 345 in defensive field goal percentage over the course.
2 points and less than a minute to play. LaSalle up 6. More from Galloway. He had 21. LaSalle wins. They'll play Kansas State in the next round. Ramon Galloway on what it all means.
It means a lot because, you know, it's going to bring our fans and it's going to bring our alumni back. When you winning, you know, alumni and fans start to feel good about their school. And when I seen that, you know, we had our own little section in there, it made us play so much harder because we knew we had support. And I ain't gonna lie, I probably didn't think it was gonna be that many people, you know, traveling to Ohio. But you know, they were there, you know, and they proved me wrong. So you know, we gotta fight for them. We gotta fight for the name on our chest.
Well, LaSalle's prize for victory, a date with the 4 seed, Kansas State. The Explorers 0-6 all-time against single-digit seeds, while the Wildcats haven't lost in the round of 64 since 1996. And if you think this matchup looks familiar, you'd be right. How about 13-seeded LaSalle taking on 4th-seeded Kansas State back in 1988? A game which saw our own Timmy Legler score 10 points, but his team came up short against the Wildcats and Mitch Richmond's 30-point effort. Well, time now for our nap. Well, Dickie V is taking his talents to a dolphin tank. ESPN's Hall of Fame analyst matching up his national championship game of Louisville and Indiana against the Dolphins' picks of Iowa State and San Diego State. Dickie V talking about his competition with David Lloyd on SportsCenter.
One thing I'm proud of is that All-State, who put that challenge together, is donating money to the V Foundation for cancer, but part of it was a challenge with me and a dolphin. You really believe that, David? Me and a dolphin. And if I lose, I have to go back after the Final Four. I have to feed the dolphins. I have to clean the dolphins up. I have to clean the deck. Well, I'm going to tell you, there's no way I'm going to lose. I have a better chance of growing.
On the road to the Final Four, we join you today from Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, just your normal spring afternoon here at Rupp Arena. It's the start of the 2013 NCAA tournament with Bucknell and Butler out of the East Region. Second round action. The winner here will take on the winner of the Marquette-Davidson matchup coming up later on today. Hi, everybody. Back-to-back years where they went to the national championship game. Les Jones, Jeff Anderson, Bill McCarthy, the officiating crew, and we are underway from Rupp. It is Butler and Bucknell, the number 6 seed against the number 11 seed in the East Region. Muscala opens it up with a jump taken away. Alex Barlow, the former walk-on, wheels in and misses on the inside.
All 40 minutes. He only had 5 points. He did have 7 assists, had 5 turns, but that's a lot of work for a young player, and he came through for Tommy Ameker's Harvard squad.
Beautiful. There's Chambers setting up Kenyatta Smith for the layup there. Harvard up by 6. Tony Snell to the big foul. Alex Kirk, who drops it home for New Mexico. Kirk was productive in this game with 22 and 12. Jamal Fenton, a 3. 2-point game. Lobo's back in it. Chambers, one more time, looking for Rivard. You know where he is.
Nice.
Paying attention to the highlight.
You know, this was a shot I thought that kind of broke New Mexico's back. I mean, they were coming, they had the lead for just a second, and then the Harvard, like you said, this young point guard just started to make big plays. Stat sheet can't say enough about what he did.
5 points, 7 assists for Chambers, and that made it an 8-point lead for the Crimson. Fenton misses the 3. Cameron Bairstow gets the offensive board. Hugh Greenwood misses the layup. Can it be? The Harvard Crimson just won an NCAA tournament game.
Unbelievable. And what's truly unbelievable about this, is this is a team that lost their 2 best players in Brandon Curry, their point guard, and Kyle Casey, their high-scoring power forward, because of an academic scandal that dealt with the university. It wasn't a basketball scandal, but those 2 guys were involved. They had to voluntarily step away from the program. How many power conference teams could lose their 2 most important players? So we're talking about Siani Chambers as a freshman point guard. He's not even supposed to be the starting point guard. Plays 40 minutes tonight. Laurent Rivard plays 40 minutes.
In Lexington.
Another upset special of mine.
Mike Muscala.
I take chances in life.
Patriot League Player of the Year. What a great player, having a great career and a terrible game.
Well, you can see the skill set, but he just doesn't have the physical strength right now. And also give Butler a lot of credit. Andrew Smith did a good job of bodying up, keeping him uncomfortable all night.
Alex Barlow with the steal there. He was a pest defensively for Butler. And Butler only up 21-14 at the half. Second half, there's Muscala doing his thing.
Awfully skilled player.
Good shooting day.
No, he didn't.
Joe Willman did.
Joe Willman had one of those games. No hesitation.
He got the Bisons back into this.
Catch it, shoot it.
Wow. In fact, he helped give the Bisons the lead in the second half thanks to a 19-2 run. He was right in the middle of all of it. In transition, here comes Rodney Clark. First 3 made of the game for the Bulldogs. There weren't many of them. Barlow with another of those steals. Did I mention he was pesky?
There's that Barlow kid again.
And Clark coming off after the jumper. Clark coming off the screen to knock down another 3-pointer. That is what he does.
Off the one leg, fading.
He's got that amnesia. I mean, all the great shooters have it. He had a bad shooting day and still made a couple down the stretch. They got a big performance from their center, Andrew Smith. He had
tournament time in Dayton, Ohio. Up first today, Temple and North Carolina State. An 8-9 matchup with the winner to face the winner of the Indiana James Madison matchup, which comes here later this afternoon. NC State and Temple. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, along with Clark Kellogg. Greatest day of the year. We're going to get to watch 4 games, and what a matchup to start things off.
Fired up and ready to roll, partner. You talk about Temple, one of the elite point guards in the country, and Khalif Wyatt, and then North Carolina State can be scintillating in the open court.
So much history in these programs past. You got Temple making a 31st trip to the NCAA tournament. They just pack.
I really think it's important for North Carolina State to have C.J. Leslie play a strong game.
Another 3. This one by Scooty Randall.
Down, but Temple doing a nice job scoring the ball here early.
Baseliner is good by O'Brien.
You need a couple of stops, couple of scores, just get it to about 10. You just want to carry some momentum into halftime with your Kansas State. Galloway for 3. What a first half for Ramon Galloway. He now has 50. Dealing with this quickness, this emotion, this hot LaSalle team, it wears you down. Kansas State reeling. Randy Foy, Alan Ray, Kyle Lowry. So the Philadelphia influence has really been a big factor for Giannini.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, we'll get you all caught up with the latest tournament news, highlights, updates. Nice follow. Halftime here in Kansas City. LaSalle with a 44-26 lead on Kansas State. Ramon Galloway, 15 points. Terrell Wright with 10. LaSalle shoots 18 for 31 to 59%. Let's go to Craig.
Well, Coach, a small lineup, speed and quickness on the perimeter, but you're dominating the paint 22-12. How are you able to do that?
Well, our guards get to the basket, and Jarrell Wright's really good. Everyone talks about our guards, but Jarrell Wright is one of the best big men in the A-10, and that's where we're having success.
Ramon Galloway was in a cold spell prior to last week. He was 4 for 22, but he's got the hot hand. Is he getting momentum from the game against Boise?
I think so. He forced a couple shots, but he's so aggressive. But when he lets the ball come to him and we share it, all those guys shoot pretty well when we play together.
All right, thanks a lot. Great first half. Back to you, Mark.
All right, thank you, Craig. So at halftime, LaSalle with an 18-point lead will send you to AT&T at the half. After a quick break, you're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship.
31 for Khalif Wyatt today for Temple as they held off NC State to advance.
I'll tell you what, Temple came out and delivered a body blow to start this game. They really served notice to their next opponent potentially, which could be Indiana, if they move on and expect to win, that they are going to be difficult to deal with. And again, I got to give a shout out to the Atlantic 10. Boy, how impressive have they been? LaSalle doing a number on K-State.
They're 5-0.
Wins yesterday. VCU, I thought, was the most impressive performance of anybody in day 1 on Thursday, I should say. So, unbelievable job. Fran Dunphy's got to be proud of his group. And Khalif Wyatt, folks, get used to that name. You're going to hear a lot of it this weekend.
And NC
8 from the line, 20 points in all.
6 for 6 from the floor. He's not missed a shot. Listen, he's working on a Christian Laettner right here.
And every shot except the previous one where he got the roll has been right on, right through. LaSalle with a 2-point lead as Henriquez sits down. As you mentioned, each team with 1 timeout remaining. Kansas State can tie or win. Rodriguez coming up short, that'll do it. The Explorers of LaSalle advance to the 3rd round. They come out of the first 4 in Dayton in the victory over Boise State, and they defeat Kansas State. They led by as many as 19. They blew the lead off the excellent second half by Kansas State, but able to settle in, and they pull it out. LaSalle goes to 23-9. 2 wins in the NCAA tournament for the Explorers for the first time since back in 1955. And they'll play Ole Miss on Sunday in the round of 32 here in Kansas City.
Just a heartbreaking finish for Wildcat fans. And tremendous defense here from LaSalle in the last couple of minutes after really just being steamrolled the entire second half and looking exhausted. They summoned the energy to close the game out, not with their offense, Marv, but with their defense. They protected the lane, they forced difficult shots, they rebounded. And how about the play of Jarrell Wright? Just spectacular from the line, on the glass, battling the bigger Kansas State Wildcats.
Wright ties a career high with 21 points along with 8 rebounds. The Kansas State is their first NCAA tournament opening round loss in their last 4 appearances. And they go to 27-8. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Coach, you've now won 2 games in the NCAA tournament, but this one was quite a thrill in that second half. When you had the big lead and then lost it, how'd you get back to get the momentum to finally win this?
Yeah, there's no secret, just grittiness, but a lot had to do with it with Jarrell Wright's play. He got a lot of big baskets. He got us over the hump. He helped us in the game. Obviously, he made the game-winning free throws. So I think he really helped us get over the hump. And other than that, we just have good kids that keep grinding.
Well, thanks a lot, Jarrell. Second half, 18 minutes to go. You have a 13-point lead. You take a nasty fall, and they take you to the locker room. How badly were you hurt, and how hard did you fight to get back in the game?
I was good. The trainer just wanted to check up on me, see how I was doing. I knew I could come back in the game and provide for my team.
You're a 60% free throw shooter, but you made 9 straight here tonight. Why was it working so well?
The coach just told me keep my same form, think about like the same thing every time I shoot the ball, and today I thought about end every time I shot the free throw.
You're the only big man on a guard-oriented team. How tough is it out there? How tired are you?
It's very tough playing against guys, 2 big men that's 6'9" and 6'10", but as you can see, I can hold my own.
Yes, you can. Terrific job. Back to you, Mark.
Magnificent game for Jarrell Wright. I mentioned the tying of the season high with 21 points along with the 8 rebounds. He scored the last 9 points for LaSalle. He did it at the brackets. It'll be LaSalle, the 13th seed in the West, going up against Marshall Henderson and Ole Miss. See, Bruce Weber's trying to call a timeout.
This was like in the final second. It was on Rodriguez's drive. It was just too late, and Weber had that timeout in his pocket the final minute. And like a lot of coaches, he let his team play, which I think is good strategy. It was just great defense from LaSalle down the stretch that negated any kind of open look.
Major upset
to defend.
So for LaSalle, their first NCAA tournament appearance since back in 1992 when they lost to Seton Hall, and what a run it has been over the first 2 games. And they'll go up against Ole Miss on Sunday after defeating Kansas State 63-61. Thanks to our producer, Scott Cocker, our director, Lonnie Dale, our statistician, Paul Evans, Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager saying so long from Kansas City. The NCAA tournament continues on TNT and TBS. True TV returns 7 o'clock Eastern Time with the Infinity NCAA tip-off, followed by Northwestern State against Florida. We'll take a quick break, and then it's on to our NCAA studio. Tar Heels by 10. Has been off. There's the putback by Javon Kingston, who's been Q93. 2011, they lost to George Mason in the second round. This is Hilliard. A 3 for Darren Hilliard.
The first 3 for Villanova. Mark, they're now 1 of 8. And Jay Wright told us yesterday we're going to have to make some threes. We heard him talk about it with Craig Sager. It's not a team that scores easily, so a few more of those, and that's exactly what they're looking for.
McAdoo up. Here's Kingston backing in. Move to Yuru, 78% free throw shooter. If you get coverage of the Division I.
New York, well, it's happened for the third time in the last 2 tournaments and the 7th time in tournament history. A number 15 has beaten a number 2, and tonight it's Florida Gulf Coast in their first appearance in the tournament, knocking out Georgetown. Back to Kansas City, Marv, Steve, and Craig.
All right, Ernie, we update the list. Florida Gulf Coast is added. Played in high school against Elijah Johnson, who's guarding him right here. Fant with a nice touch.
Well, they're hanging around, Mark. When you're trying to divide the game up into 4-minute stretches, hang around and make the favorite uncomfortable.
Division I women's basketball tournament at ncaa.com/women's Final Four. San Diego State, first 16 games, Lenny, they went 14-2 and averaged about 72 points a game. But the last 16 games, 8 up and 8 down, averaging much less, 66 points a game.
And they're not shooting the ball very well. The second leading scorer in the Big 12.
Cousins a 3. Isaiah Cousins.
Transfer from Penn State. He was a member of the Nittany Lions NIT title team from 2009. And now.
All right, time for sports. We had a chance to hit the Philly trifecta tonight. Villanova trying to be the 3rd city team to win in the tournament today. The Cats were looking to follow the lead of LaSalle and Temple, who both pulled off wins as underdogs. Nova nearly did it. The Cats trailed North Carolina by 20 points. They fought back to take the lead in the second half. But North Carolina pulls away in the final minute. Nova loses to the Tar Heels 78-71. Here's head coach Jay Wright.
11 threes for them and 4 for us. I think that was the key to the game, and that's what they do. We wanted to stop it and we couldn't. But I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of their effort. We got down 20. They never quit. They've done that all year for us.
Meanwhile, LaSalle is turning into one of the Cinderella stories of March Madness. The Explorers pulling off one of the biggest upsets of the day. They knock off 4th-seeded Kansas State. The Explorers just came out on fire. Ramon Galloway hitting the runner. Galloway 19 points. LaSalle led by 18 at the half. But the Explorers only had 3 field goals in the entire second half. Fortunately, Joel Wright seals it from the foul line. Hit 7 of 8 down the stretch. Wright 21 points, and LaSalle wins 63-61. They advance to play Ole Miss on Sunday. This victory means a lot to Ramon Galloway.
The greatest moment ever in my life, to come here and get 2 wins and know that we keep playing.
We know they're going to throw a punch, but we just can't let the punch get out of hand. Like, we can't let them keep punching unless we can't stay down. And I think that's what we did.
It'll be a lifelong memory for these kids. As competitors, it was a great win because they had to reach so far deep down to get the win.
In Dayton, Ohio, Temple took out NC State. The Owls also had a hot start. Jake O'Brien, 18 points. Temple up 16, and Fran Dunphy, still a little nervous. NC State would cut the lead to 3, but Khalif Wyatt pours in 31 points for the Owls. Temple is marching on. They win 76-72. Next up, top-seeded Indiana on Sunday.
We got one out of the way, and we get another opportunity to go out there on Sunday and keep it alive. So, I mean, we just all focused on one goal right now, and that's just taking it one game at a time and surviving and advancing.
Us seniors been here before, and we know how it is to win, and we know how it is to lose the next round. So, I mean, we took care of business today, barely down the stretch, and we got a big game coming up on Sunday.
How about
But Barry Ellis doing a pretty nice job defensively, and now he'll go to the line for a couple of free throws.
Check this out. World Cup qualifying action from snowy Denver between Costa Rica and the United States. 30 degrees and a wind chill of 21 at kickoff. 16th minute, USA on the attack. Josie Altidore takes the shot from the outside. Gets deflected straight off the foot of Clint Dempsey. 1-0 USA. Jump now to the 54th minute. The snow has gotten heavier. If you could imagine that, they paused the game, but the team spoke to the referee and play would continue. Costa Rica trying to tie it in the 86th minute. Giancarlo Gonzalez can't get a good head on it. The United States goes on to win this one 1-0. What a game. They earned 3 points toward qualifying for the World Cup. Well, it's been a great start for the Atlantic 10 in the NCAA tournament, no doubt about that. 6 games, 6 wins, half of those from Temple and LaSalle. The Explorers won Wednesday, and both teams won close games Friday. Steve Bucci visited both schools' campuses during the action to capture the madness that is March.
Temple and NC State are underway, and the Draft Horse Pub is packed. Everyone clad in cherry and white. Well, almost everyone.
What are you doing here? Are you lost?
I actually didn't go to Nova. My sister did. My boy went to Temple. Everyone hates me. Go Temple, man. Go Temple.
Allegiance is more than skin deep. The place goes nuts as the Owls build a 16-point lead at the half. There's cheering, followed by texting. But in the final minutes, the tension mounts. 3, 2, 1, ball game over. Temple survives and advances.
Oh my God, I thought the game was over, and then coming down to the last minute, I was biting my nails. Not enough alcohol to keep me calm down, baby. Let's go, Temple!
I only got hopes and dreams right now, man. It's March Madness. It's the dance. Anything can happen.
Fight, fight, fight!
For the cherry and the white, for the cherry and the white, we'll fight, fight, fight!
Meanwhile, farther up North Broad, the madness that is March continues. At Gola Arena, where they're used to watching the Explorers play in person, the arena's video boards are tuned to the action from Kansas City. Midway through the second half, and LaSalle's big lead over K-State has disappeared. It's almost too much for the faithful. The Explorers regain the lead with 30 seconds to go, and the crowd goes wild. And then the final furious seconds. LaSalle hangs on as they storm the court at the Gola.
I'm glad to be here at the Tom Gola Arena. I'm glad to be a LaSalle student. 150th year anniversary is a great year to be an Explorer.
I can't even describe it. I mean, I was there Wednesday, so I was praying that we would win again. I don't know, maybe I'll have to try to Kansas City for Sunday.
Let the madness continue. On North Broad, Steve Bucci, Comcast Sportsnet.
Number 1 seed. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? What number are we? Huh? You cannot make people respect you. You cannot make people respect you. All right? But you can certainly not allow them to disrespect you. Okay? Let's go make that happen. Let's go. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family.
Love the coach's speech to get the guys fired up beforehand. Greg Marshall up against Mark Few and the Zags. Carl Hall with the steal and the breakaway dunk. And Jamie, you know all about these Shockers.
I like he went from the good to the bad, the made shot into the loss to Wichita State. You know, again, I told people after we lost to them, they're good, and they play hard, they defend, and I think they're better because of this kid Baker. I think he's back, he's made them different, and then you saw the second half, we'll see, he hits a couple threes that separates them from Gonzaga. So they're shooting with him out there, gives them more spacing, better shooting, and I think a better team.
Cold start for Gonzaga, then they get it going. They find Elias Harris, then Kelly Olynyk for a couple
nice
of
shot.
buckets there. And it's a 3-point game. Everything seems better in Gonzaga land. Off the Fred VanVleet, missed 3. Jake White,
Big
Johnny
play.
on the spot.
Huge play. Big play, momentum into the second half, and came up with the loose ball, and obviously a key play on the tip in. A little push off there, but
that's all right.
You can do it.
We bit. Soft pause, as Rex would say, to tap that home, and it's a 5-point game at the half. Here comes Gonzaga, and here comes Olynyk. Similar deal to the Southern game in the round of 64. They went to him when they needed baskets in the second half. Zags keep it moving. Kevin Pangos knocks down the 3. 1-point game. Pangos to Mike Hart. He'll bury a tray. Zags take their first lead of the game at 43-41, and if you're holding a bracket with Gonzaga going deep, you're feeling a little better about yourself. But Ron Baker cuts it to a 1-point game. Carl Hall knocks down a jumper. Shockers
shots.
back on top.
I mean, this last 3 minutes of this ball game was unbelievable. The plays made by both teams.
Baker Shockers up 4.
And there's Baker. He missed all their league games, came back for the Missouri Valley Conference tournament for a game or two.
This was the backbreaker running out of shot clock a million miles away, and Van Vliet hits the 3.
They put him on the floor with Armstead and Baker. They got 3 shooters on the floor, 3 skilled guys that can really shoot it. Plus, you got early out there 4 guys that can really shoot the ball, and that's what they went through at the end of the game.
They finished on a 22-9 run. You see all those great emotions of the tournament. Wichita. Here's Jamie Maggio with a whole bunch of happy Shockers.
Coach, you told your team on Thursday, play angry, play physical. They did that from start to finish tonight. How impressed are you with Wichita State basketball?
They never quit. You know, we got the big lead. Gonzaga makes a great run as the #1 team in the country would. And then these guys get down. We can't keep them off the foul line, but they never stop. I think we got down as much as 8. You know what I asked them on October 15th? Down 8 with 8 minutes to go. Would you take it for the right to go to LA in the Sweet 16? And they did it from there.
Explain to me this. Gonzaga goes on a 12-0 run there in the second half. They look to take all the momentum away. How did you guys keep fighting?
The coaches and the team just decided to pull together, and we did. And this feeling's unimaginable right now.
Well, the Shockers shocked a lot of people tonight. What makes this team dangerous moving forward?
We play together, and we stick to our goals, and we're good teammates.
You gotta look more excited, Ron. This is a big deal.
Yeah, I'm a humble kid.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Such a heartbreaker out there tonight. What was the message to your team after this loss?
That this night doesn't define what we were able to do this year. I mean, we're the greatest team in the history of basketball at the school. I mean, what they accomplished this year, I think, amazed everybody, including myself. I've been doing this 24 years now, and it was just an unbelievable group to be associated with, to work with every day, and the things that they accomplished both off the court and off the court and on the court were it's unbelievable.
February of 1984.
Back, he has basket responsibility.
The clock starts the moment somebody inbounds touches the ball. Dixon, 2 seconds, launches the shot. He hit it! Dixon hit it! Dixon has hit the shot at the buzzer, and TCU has won it.
I do not believe it. I cannot believe it. I hope you can hear me, Jamie. You can hear me. What a shot. How do you feel, young man?
I feel great. I can't believe it. It's just, I don't know. I can't explain it.
How great was that?
So that's why you brought me down here.
29
now I know.
years ago, beat the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah. I haven't seen that in a while. It's been a long time. You like the shorts, too? They
love
fit
the
nicely.
shorts, love the hair, the whole deal.
Look at the replay. Yeah.
Didn't yet have the three-point line, but we did have replays.
Look at the quick
back then.
Look at the quick.
Look at the handle. Look at the balance.
Look at the balance.
That may have been charge. That may have been offensive.
Under today's
the eyes were closed.
Today's rule.
I think there's a flagrant foul.
There's a flagrant one.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Somewhere right now, that Texas defender is screaming at his television that it was an offensive foul.
Charge. You know, the interesting thing about that play was they had a foul to give, Texas. So they're actually trying to foul on purpose. That's why the swipe's out front. And that's why it got through. Yeah, exactly. So, as you can see, they're going through the foul here.
Is Jamie directing this show now? Is it the 4th time we're seeing it?
Yeah.
1, 2 fouls.
I got some high school highlights you might want to show.
Those Chuck Taylor's coach you wearing?
Yeah,
we're going to get to those in the third segment.
Those are the original
Nike highlight if we're cutting our own highlights here? Pretty good.
I don't know where
Game of the day, Marquette and Butler. The Golden Eagles looking to advance to the Sweet 16 for the 3rd straight year. Final seconds of the game. Butler down 4, and Jamil Wilson called for goaltending. Butler down 2 now. So 3 seconds left. Marquette inbounding, and the ball goes over Wilson's head out of bounds. So Butler gets the ball back with 2.9 ticks left. Final seconds, last chance for Butler. Andrew Smith for the win. And you know Marquette fans were saying deja vu from that Maui Invitational, but they avoided as Marquette holds on to win it 74-72.
perspective here, with Gonzaga losing last night in the round of 32, that became the 20th occasion when a #1 seed failed to make it out of the round of 32 since they went to the 64 and beyond total team.
Punish them in the paint area and get to the foul line could be the difference.
And again, Wyatt, since that opening basket of the second half, hasn't scored until now. His Owls lead it by 3.
And they lead because of this guy right here, Khalif Wyatt. He's a closer. If it gets close late, this guy will have it every time.
8 remaining. The game is tied and LaSalle back in possession.
Well, Galloway's been the man here tonight, Mark, but he's scoreless in about the last 10+ minutes. But the big thing is no shot clock. It's shot clock's off. So tie game, clearly you want to go for the last shot here. Try to run it down as much as you can and try to get a good look. But their game is penetrate and kick. So look for LaSalle once the game clock gets down to look for a penetration, maybe move the ball on, find an open shooter.
Can LaSalle continue this improbable run? They have an opportunity right here to advance. Shot clock, as you mentioned, turned off, down to 20 seconds. Game tied at 74.
Ole Miss in his zone, 2-3.
Down to 5. Here's Garland. Banks it. Yes! For the lead with 2.5 remaining. Here's Summers from mid-court. The Explorers of LaSalle have defeated the Rebels of Ole Miss. And this fable continues. The 13th seed in the West will advance. Next up, Wichita State, Thursday in the West Regional. Ramon Galloway, 6 for 10 from downtown. He had 24 points. Tyreek Duran, 19. And Tyrone Garland with 17, including the game winner.
There's something about this team, Marv, just the resilience, the toughness, the guts. And Galloway scoreless the last 10 minutes, so they go to Garland, and he comes up big over the top of the defense. Buckner has been so good blocking shots all game, and somehow Garland gets it over his outstretched arms. Just an incredible run for the Salle Explorers, and it continues.
Henderson finished with 21 points, 8 for 21, and in the city of brotherly love, I thought we heard the cheers just a moment ago.
Yeah, I think so.
All the way out to Kansas City. Let's go to Craig.
Well, Coach, first time in 21 years LaSalle's been in the tournament. You've won 3 games, but nothing as dramatic as this one. Tell us about that last play and what was called.
Well, we just spread them out, 5 out against their zone, and our guards are so quick. You know, there's no one for the big guy to guard, and there was plenty of space, and no one's quicker than this guy. He's as quick as anyone in the country.
Well, Tyrone, you didn't start the game, but you certainly finished it. Tell us about the last play and when you thought you had the ball and the shot.
We wanted to go flat, and at the last minute, I know I was going best to the right, so I told Ramon to switch. And I knew I probably had a shot if I drove the ball. I asked Reek early in the timeout, is that open? Once they swing, he said yes.
And what do you call that shot you just made?
That's the Southwest Philly floater, man. Shout out to my cousin Byrne. Shout out to my mom, BOA, all y'all, man. We out here, Southwest.
The Southwest Philly floater. That's the difference in the game, 76-74. Back to you, Marv.
I hear you put a little mustard on it. It's excellent. Tyrone Garland, who bounced back, did not play well against Kansas State following the good performance against Boise in the first 4 as we look at the Capital One Cup impact performance.
Ole Miss had a timeout if they wanted it, Marv. But Eddie Kennedy electing to let his players play it out, but they really couldn't get much more than a half-court heave. But what an incredible game for LaSalle against all odds with this front line of Ole Miss, but they found a way with their speed and quickness.
And LaSalle taking on Ole Miss for a spot in the Sweet 16. A 13 against a 12, figured to be close. Tyrone Garland gets the lay, and LaSalle's up 2. Ensuing inbounds, 2.5 seconds left. Jarvis Summers, couple of dribbles, launches the half-court shot. It won't go. Watch the game winner again. It's Garland driving past 2 defenders, gets the shot around Reginald Buckner. And how about LaSalle? Oh, they're exploring indeed. Garland, by the way, 17 points. He had just 2 points in the round of 64, their win against Kansas State. LaSalle's going to win 3 games in a single NCAA men's basketball championship for the first time since 1955. Get this, LaSalle had just 2 wins in the tournament from 1956 to 2012. The 12-game streak is tied for the longest by the Pens since Sidney Crosby joined the league in 05-06. Pittsburgh's now just 5 games shy of the NHL record, 17-game win streak set by the Penguins themselves back in 92-93. They've trailed in 9 of those 12 games. Carolina turnover, Johnson the pass ahead, Relaford another finish and a foul. Relaford had 22-8, and Kansas is going to win 70-58. And Stewart's rather quiet.
I'm going to be a man. Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. There.
Very big night for local college basketball. The LaSalle Explorers are among the Sweet 16 at the big dance. What a beautiful way to win that game, Jeff.
Yeah, and they are celebrating tonight like they won the lottery. It went down in dramatic fashion tonight. What a finish. LaSalle doesn't want to be called Cinderellas. The Explorers have won 3 games in the tournament for the first time in almost 60 years, but they believe, hey, we're here and we belong here. What a finish tonight. Take a look. LaSalle comes back from down 5 in the final minutes. Ole Miss with the ball. Here we go. 32 seconds left. What defense? Ole Miss can't get a shot off. It's a shot clock violation. It's LaSalle's ball. So here we go. Tied up. Tyreek Dorn with the ball. They count it down to 3 seconds left to Tyrone Garland. What a move. Got it! Wow, LaSalle wins 76-74. They're going to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1955. They'll play Wichita State Thursday in Los Angeles.
These guys are doing it right before our eyes. Tyreek and I were talking about what's just happened, and we're all a little bit numb because it's such a close game and it's such a great accomplishment. This team has great intangibles. They are tough, they are together, and frankly, that's why we're here.
And they are here. They haven't been here in a very long time, over 2 decades, but they're making the most of this opportunity.
Sure are,
we'll have more coming up in sports.
Looking forward to it. Now let's go live to Kenneth Moten on the LaSalle campus. Got to be a lot of joy there, Kenneth.
Rob, let me show you this. Moments ago, the celebration moved from the arena to the streets where hundreds of students are partying on Olney Avenue. Fans of the LaSalle Explorers are feeling good. They've got a lot of spirit and a lot of faith in this team. There it is, the moment the LaSalle Explorers knew their team was heading to the Sweet 16.
Unbelievable. This is awesome. It's a great time to be an Explorer. We're making history. Sweet 16, here we come.
Students and alumni in the Tom Gola Arena on campus erupted in celebration as the team took down Ole Miss in the NCAA tournament. I can tell you're feeling it. I am feeling it, baby. Woo! Yeah! It was a game that kept them on the edge of their seats. Down Broad Street, it was a similar scene earlier in the day at Temple University's Minton Hall, where dozens of fans were hoping the Owls could keep it going.
Oh, I'm thrilled they're getting this far, but I want to see the Sweet 16! Sweet 16!
Unfortunately, Temple was defeated, leaving fans disappointed but proud.
They definitely played a great game, considering it's a #1 seed. It was a tough game, but they played really well. Just that tail end kind of gave us a hard time, but we worked really hard.
With Temple and Villanova now out, all those March Madness eyes in our area are on LaSalle, and it looks like the Explorers are putting on quite a show.
I'm so proud. You know, they did amazing. They've been playing so tough. Like, you know, they've been playing awesome. They're amazing.
kid transferred back to LaSalle after going away for school originally. Who saw this coming? LaSalle, one of the last teams to make the NCAA tournament, or one of the last teams standing. The Explorers are going to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1955, the year they played for a national title. LaSalle fans, they don't want to miss this game against Ole Miss today for the world. Yeah, it was worth that 6-hour drive through the snow. Here we go. Down 5, 4 minutes to go. LaSalle comes back. Sam Mills, the 3 and the foul. A 4-point play? No, how about a 5-point play? Because on the missed free throw, they get it back. And look at this, Jarrell Wright got it. We're tied at 69. Minute later, LaSalle retakes the lead. Tyreek Doran, a huge 3. LaSalle up 1 with 3 minutes to go. Ole Miss not going down without a fight. They get the offensive board, the putback, Reginald Buckner. LaSalle back down 1. Now, they would tie it up on free throws. So here we go. 32 seconds left. Marshall Henderson. How about the defense by LaSalle? Shot clock violation. They get it back. Huge break. So here we go. Tied up. Duran. 3 seconds left to Tyrone Garland. Watch the move right here. Wow. LaSalle wins 76-74. They'll play Wichita State Thursday in Los Angeles after playing 3 games in the last 5 days.
I don't know how to feel, because I've never been here. I can say it's the greatest feeling, but honestly, I don't know how I feel right now. I'm just happy. I know I'm happy. We're in the Sweet 16 now, so, we loving it.
And we ain't want to go back to school.
And you can't blame them for not wanting to go back. Well, this team is coming back. Number 1 seeds are their Temple of Doom. It's unbelievable. The Owls are the worst team in the history of college basketball against number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. How about 0 for 9 now after falling to Indiana today? Temple star Khalif Wyatt leaning on his teammates, but he carries them all day long. Down 9 early, Wyatt takes over, scores 20 of their first 29 points. Then right before the break, Anthony Lee, he chips in. How about the slam down low? Temple up 3 at the half. Second half, Wyatt still carrying Fran Dunphy's guys. He scores 31. Everyone else combined for just 21. Then 2 minutes to go. It goes all downhill. Lee is blocked. It would have put them up 4. Instead, Indiana would take their first lead of the second half on free throws. 48 seconds left we go. Down 1, Raleigh Hollis Jefferson for the lead. No. Owls don't score a single basket over the final 4 minutes, and it slips away. 15 seconds left. Victor Oldiopo. Wow. Indiana ends the game on a 10-0 run. The Owls are out, losing 58-52.
That's what you want as a basketball player. You get a big stage like this and the whole world's watching and stadium's packed and most of them all of them are Indiana fans. And it's just you and your teammates out there. You get a chance to go out there and shut everybody up. So that's fun to me. And it was fun while it lasted, but we just didn't come out on top, and that's really disappointing. But
We are just a few minutes away now from tip-off. The LaSalle Explorers looking to continue their magical run through the NCAA tournament tonight. Fans are certainly fired up around town, many snapping up their Sweet 16 merchandise at the campus bookstore this afternoon as they await Wichita State. Eyewitness reporter Todd Quinones is live at a noisy watch party on campus right now. Todd.
Well, Chris, as you know, we're just about 10 minutes away from tip-off here, and as you can hear and see behind me, LaSalle students, they're fired up and they're ready to watch their team advance into the Elite Eight. The sign inside the Student Union building at LaSalle says it all. It's
Sometimes you hear folks talk about, well, they came out and punched them right in the mouth. That happened tonight. Wichita State against LaSalle. They jumped out 17-3 on themselves.
It was really impressive, and the size advantage that Wichita State had on the interior with Carl Hall and also Arupe, I thought really gave them a presence at the defensive end. Carl Hall went to work. He was in beast mode, and he landed the first punch.
Seth, Ernie punched him in the mouth, then they went to the body, then they went to the body, then they went to the mouth. That's what they did tonight.
They played Clay Anthony early on the slash.
And like a true Philly fighter, LaSalle, they kept getting back up, got back up. Every time they did, they'd knock them back down. Every time they tried to make a run, they would make a defensive play They would chase them down from behind, get a strip. They just couldn't get it under 10, 11. It was really an impressive defensive performance.
38-22 at the half, and then Ron Baker comes right out, and they up the lead big time. And LaSalle still trying to hang in there. Jarrell Wright working inside, and it was not a great night for Ramon Galloway.
It wasn't at all, Ernie. You can see a little tired of fatigue on his shots, a lot of short, but Wichita State is feeling it. You're talking about knocking down shots. You called it, Seth. With Ron Baker back, they have a guy that can stretch out the defense, open it up. I thought LaSalle should have went to Jarrell Wright a little bit more. He was having a decent game.
But what Ernie was talking about, Ramon Galloway, also is kind of what Seth was mentioning. The physicality, him having to guard those guys on the defensive end, wore him out. They were getting on the offensive glass. He was the one down there having to match up with the forwards. I think it wore him out.
And you know, needless to say, Trey Burke shot his team into the Elite Eight. Ties the game with seconds to play in overtime. Michigan up 1. Burke misses but gets the pick up by Mitch McGarry. 25 points. Michigan up 3 at that point. 5 seconds to play. Elijah Johnson, for some reason, passes it out to Nadir Tharp. Michigan wins it 87-85. What a finish at Jerry World. Michigan advances to their first Elite Eight since 1994. Michigan
lost. But the Shockers starting to pull away after that as Takale Cotton drills the triple. He had 2 in the game. Shockers go up 9 the next possession. Van Fleet gets a tough fadeaway to go in the paint. He had 12 off the benches. Wichita State hangs on to win it 70-66. They're heading to the Final Four for the first time since 1965. So Wichita State just the second 9 seed to make the Final Four, and then the first Missouri Valley team to make the Final Four since 1979 when a guy by the name of Larry Bird was on the Indiana State team.
Before yesterday's Flyers game, a handful of Flyers legends were on hand to celebrate the unveiling of a statue outside Xfinity Live. It's Bernie Perrott and Bobby Clark holding the Stanley Cup after the Flyers knocked off the Bruins in 6 games in 1974. It's been nearly 40 years, but Bernie remembers it like it was yesterday.
Such an honor to have been chosen, you know, with Bob.